So hi everyone, my name is Brian Ick. So I'm a solution consultant of ION Treasury, and today I'll be taking you through the topic of artificial intelligence and machine learning and how that can bring you benefits in the world of Treasury. So just giving you a quick introduction to what artificial intelligence and machine learning actually means. So artificial intelligence is really just any intelligence demonstrated by the machine. So perhaps when during your normal day-to-day life, perhaps you might have encountered this term, artificial intelligence. And really how it's defined is just the study of intelligent agents, that any devices that perceives its environment and takes actions that maximizes its chance of successfully achieving its goals. And within the realm of artificial intelligence, machine learning is actually sets of artificial intelligence, and it is the ability of how they can learn without being explicitly programmed. So most oftenly, it uses various statistical techniques to give computers the ability to learn using historical mass input data. And within the machine learning area as well, we have the idea of deep learning, where it's inspired by the function of a human brain. And it's also known as a deep structured learning or hierarchical learning as part of the broader family of machine learning. It's based on learning data representation as opposed to task-specific algorithms. So an example of that would be the neural network method with hidden layers to learn from input data. So perhaps on your normal day-to-day life, what you usually encounter on a consumer basis, you have your Google Assistant, you have your Siri, that kind of guides you through and provides you with machine learning recommendations with your apps or your various choices, as well as perhaps going to watching Netflix. They will recommend you with different films, different TV series. And in ION, we really want to leverage the same functionalities and same kind of techniques and ideas in the world of Treasury. And our goal here is really to try to transform the way of how our customers can operate by delivering a fully integrated machine learning application for the Treasury users of ION. In terms of the benefits that will give to the various customers, we really want to hone into a few different points. So first, trying to automate any repetitive tasks that perhaps treasurers are currently doing by leveraging intellectual machine learning algorithms to help them do so. We want to enhance control through anomaly detection and anti-fraud measures, unlocking the values of which machine learning-based assistants can help the treasurer to perform their normal day-to-day activity. And most importantly, hoping and helping them to improve accuracy by leveraging big data analysis and pattern recognition. So ultimately, what we're trying to do here is helping the treasurers to gain insights and workflow to improve the efficiency of their normal day-to-day work, free up some of their resources, helping them to save time and simplifying the processes along the way as well. And within ION Treasury, we have developed the ION AI Treasury Hub. So what this is basically a hub that connects with our 7 treasury management systems and hopes to bring you all these benefits that we mentioned just here on the slide. So by thinking about artificial intelligence and machine learning within the treasury, we really want to focus on a few areas of which they will bring maximum benefits to our customers. And our aim here is really want to support the treasurers with the daily work and relieve them from any repetitive task. And the first thing that we have tried to select, and the thing that we have already gone live with a few of our system, would be in the area of cash forecasting. So what we're trying to do here is to produce a more accurate forecast in a fraction of time by navigating through large volumes of historical data to identify any trends, patterns, anomalies, so helping the treasurer to generate the forecast in a really timely manner and produce a more accurate forecast. There are other use cases that we have identified as well. For example, most noticeably kind of in payment, where we will alert users for potentially fraudulent activity by detecting irregular or unknown payments, as well as any hedging and investment strategies by identifying and recommending any hedging investment strategies based on your historical investment portfolio that you have within your system. Other areas also include, for example, transaction tagging, cash reconciliation, operational support, and workflow anomaly detection. But all in all, what we're trying to do here is to combine all those various use cases and how we can then think about how we can apply artificial intelligence and machine learning to those particular use cases. And as ION is the largest provider of the treasury management system, we really want to help you to develop a system that goes hand in hand with our ION community as well. So with the ION community in place, not only we can develop all those various use cases, but at the same time, we can also share insights, wisdom, and knowledge that are gained from the ION community and help them to be applied into each of those various use cases here as well. Perhaps we just want to focus on cash forecasting for now. So cash forecasting is really the first use cases that we have developed artificial intelligence and machine learning for, and it's really one of the first main priority pain points that some of our customers are experiencing in their normal day-to-day operations. So what really come as a feedback from them is really the three main things that they've identified as pain points. So first, you have the slow and manual analysis of historical data. So within a large or even small or mid-sized corporate, what you usually have is the various cash flow data that you need to analyze, historical cash flow data that you need to analyze, and then try to analyze them, understand the trends, patterns, and also anomalies within those data, and then just to see how that can be reflected in your forecast. So that usually is a really manual process. Either you'll be doing it within your spreadsheets, your treasury management system, but then the piece for analyzing the data and creating it usually takes weeks or perhaps a few days. So what this will lead to is either missing or incorrectly identifying some anomalies or trends. So overall, that will lead to over or underestimation of your cash requirements. So within ION Treasury, what we really want to do is to help you to tackle these main pain points by doing artificial intelligence forecasting and bringing you those values that are perhaps missing in your current operation. So with machine learning, we really want to significantly improve the forecasting process for our customers. And there are three main things that we want to focus on. So first, we want to improve on the time that it takes for each of the customers to generate the forecast. So with machine learning, what we have discovered with some of our customers that already gone live with our machine learning capability for cash flow forecasting, it has drastically reduced the time to produce a forecast. So as compared to perhaps what takes them perhaps a day to compile the forecast, what they would now need to do is only with a few click of a button, you'll be able to generate the forecast. So it's up to around 3,000 times faster as compared to kind of a manual traditional method. It also helps remove any human biases and improve forecasting accuracy as well. So compared to a case study that we have, one of our customers using kind of manual and traditional method, it already has been able to achieve an 85% accuracy. However, when we do the cash flow forecasting leveraging machine learning and AI ability, what they'll be able to do is improve that by a further 10% increase, leading to a 95% increase using the neural network method. So all in all, that helps them to produce a forecast that's more accurate, create the forecast in a more timely manner, and help them to realize monetary gains for a more predictable cash flow, cash requirements. So just by focusing on one of the case studies that we have performed with one of our customers, so at the top here, what you'll be able to see are their historical data. And what machine learning really is doing here is by taking the set of historical data, leveraging a portion of it as the training data, so allowing the machine for it to learn the historical pattern, understanding whether there are any seasonality, any trends or patterns that perhaps goes on within that historical trend, historical data, training it using the machine, identifying the patterns, and then for us to specify a particular forecast date, and then afterwards using our historical data and our forecast data, using that to validate against our actual set of data. So what the machine is doing is learning the historical trends, the historical patterns, forecasting it, and kind of validating it just to make sure that it achieves the accuracy of which you want to achieve. So at the bottom, you'll be able to see two different methods that we offer within our ION Treasury machine learning offering for cash forecasting. To the left-hand side, the bottom left-hand side, you'll be able to see the ARIMA method. So the ARIMA method stands for the autoregressive integrated moving average method. So what this is doing is taking into account your historical data, using a statistical method, analyzing any trends in seasonality. And then what this actually does is for this particular set of data, when you compare the forecast against the actual, you can see that the ARIMA method has greatly improved the accuracy for up to 93% as compared to a manual method previously we mentioned as 85%. So an 8% increase in the accuracy of forecast. Our bottom right-hand side corner here, we can see the other method that we have within our cash flow forecasting machine learning offering would be the neural network method. So as mentioned, this belongs to the deep learning family, and using this particular method, we've been able to further increase the accuracy for up to 95% for a particular set of data. So comparing to just a manual and traditional way of data, we can see that not only it has improved on the accuracy of the particular set of data, so it has been able to produce a more accurate forecast, but again, from the feedback from the customers, it also helped them to reduce the time to produce reduce the time to produce the forecast as well. So all in all, this is again reiterate how some of the benefits of machine learning, how they can be achieved, how the methodology is currently being done, and what kind of results we're currently seeing from the various customers. So perhaps, without further ado, perhaps I'll just go into the actual application, just to show you in real life, in one of the treasury management system in ION, and how machine learning has actually been applied to a cash flow forecast. So I'll just quickly, to one of the ION treasury management system we have, Rival. You'll be able to see it as an example of a cash flow forecast. So you'll be able to see at the top here are the various cash flow forecasting items. So in here, you'll be seeing typical examples of the various account payables, the salaries, the taxes, any account receivables, sales receipt, and so on and so forth. Perhaps all those information coming in from your ERP. At the same time, you also find information coming directly from your TMS as well. So for example, things from investments, from your capital expenditure, any interest payments that you perhaps might have, any hedging cash flows, all those would directly be integrated within your ERP and have them all reflected in this plan here. And in this plan here, what you can be able to see is a typical plan. And I'm just going to draw costs, data, and just to show you how machine learning can work and what kind of benefits it actually brings to the world of treasury. So at the top here, you'll be able to see the various methods that we offer to our customers in terms of doing simple statistical regression, or linear regression, multivariable linear regression, and also two machine learning method as well. So the ARIMA method that we touched on just now, as well as the neural network method that we see that's part of the deep learning family. So by just only leveraging the linear regression method, what we can do is select a particular time period, indicating what historical data you want to use as input. So for example, if we want to use the start of 2015 up until July 2020, and then have the forecast to be performed from August onwards up until September next year, for example. We can then a particular set of data that we want to generate a forecast for. And in this case, in particular, we want to look into the sales receipt data. So by just performing a simple linear regression, perhaps something that you can already do in Excel, what the system will allow you to do is have them to be displayed and done within the TMS as well. And immediately you can see, using the historical data, what the system is able to do is to help you to using your underlying forecast, the historical data that's within your TMS, helping you to analyze them and fit it with the line of best fit. So in here, you'll be able to see that the general data itself has a few different characteristics in terms of historical data. So you can see there's a general upward trend of the data. The trend itself is going up year by year by slightly bit. At the same time, there's also seasonality effect to that particular set of data as well. So for example, at the end of each year, you'll be able to see there's a large peak in the data. And also at the middle of each year, perhaps at the end of each quarter, there's also a smaller peak. So the overall historical data itself indicates seasonality. Just using linear regression model, we can only be able to predict it with a line of best fit and only capture certain characteristics, but not all the characteristics with this certain type of data. So we've only been able to capture the overall general upward trend of data, but not the seasonality effect that perhaps is presented within the set of data. So what we'll be able to do is instead go into the various methods. If we now look into using one of the REMA method, for example, and then we train the particular system for this particular set of sales receipt data. And what the system will go away and do is then take the historical data, understand any underlying trends and patterns, and then using the algorithms behind it, and then just to see what kind of fitted data it can be fitted with the training set of data. So as you can see very quickly and immediately, you'll be able to see first in the blue line, which would be the actual set of historical data at the back, and then how well the training data has then fitted with the actual set of data. You can see that the training data has closely mapped alongside with our actual set of data. So the machine itself has identified some of the trends and patterns, some of the peaks that we have identified with the naked pair of eye, and how perhaps that has corresponds and translates into its training. So then what we can do is, after confirming that our training is correct and accurate, and that's good to go, what we can do is then to present it and generate the preview of the actual forecast that it would generate based on the training data that we've just seen just now. So what you'll be able to do and see this set of training data is that not only you'll be able to capture all the historical trends and patterns and have them reflected within your forecast, all the various characteristics are also presented within your forecast as well. So if you're just looking at this set of data, you can see that all the peaks that you've identified at the end of each year, as well as perhaps the smaller peaks at the middle of each year and at each of the quarter as well, those are all presented and identified within the forecast. And those are done in a really quick and easy fashion. Just if you click of a button in a few seconds, and the forecast itself have been generated in really timely manner, as well as really accurately as well. So this again just shows how forecasts can be generated. Secondly, how quickly and how little time it actually took for the forecast to be generated as well. So these benefits reduce the time for which treasurers have to kind of manually go through spreadsheets and understanding what the historical trends are, understanding the data, and provide kind of an analysis on the back of that, as well as perhaps human biases that perhaps we have for those manually created forecasts as well. So perhaps just slides. We can then start polling question to understand, perhaps after understanding all the various benefits, functionalities, and also huge potential that perhaps artificial intelligence and machine learning have in cash flow forecasting. Are you planning to use artificial intelligence or machine learning in cash flow forecasting in the future? So we have a poll here on the bottom right-hand corner of your WebEx screen. So please feel free to either select yes in the next field next 6 months, yes, in a 6 to 12 month time frame, or whether it's going to be 12 to 18 months, 18 months plus further, or no, you're not interested. But perhaps the thing that we want to highlight here is really the impact of COVID and how this actually impacted our current customers as well. So during the COVID period, we're hearing a lot of feedback from our current customers in terms of how they want to do more frequent forecasts and the need to do more accurate forecasts as well. And we are seeing more and more traction and more customers coming to us asking for this functionality and trying to leverage that so that they can plan and produce a forecast that is more accurate and reduce the time for them to create a forecast if they want to make a more frequent forecast in a week-by-week basis, perhaps. So I can see that the results have come in, and hopefully we're still consolidating results. And then what we can see here is that actually most of the treasurers actually want to deploy the functionality, the first with option B, so yes, in the next 6 to 12 months, and also next up with 12 to 18 months as well. So hopefully, by understanding more about how artificial intelligence and machine learning can help your cash flow forecasting process, as well as your other processes, more and more businesses can leverage these functionalities and see how those can be leveraged in your day-to-day normal treasury operations. So just to conclude, so what have we talked about in this particular webinar? So we have talked about the ideas of machine learning and artificial intelligence, how they can be applied to the treasury world, what kind of benefits does it actually bring to various treasurers and various companies, what kind of use cases can we actually do machine learning and artificial intelligence on, and then ultimately the four main benefits are as such. So first, we're trying to save time. In terms of the fact for cash flow forecasting, we really want to reduce the time for each of the company to take to produce the forecast. So helping you to save time is a number one priority, because manually collating and compiling forecasts is really one of the pain points that we see from the various customers. Secondly, helping them to improve the accuracy as well. So removing human biases and improving the overall forecast accuracy is another goal that we try to achieve. And by using machine learning, the machine learning methods that we've highlighted in this presentation, hopefully you'll be able to improve your accuracy of the forecast by up to 10% more accurate. And ultimately, what this will lead to is help you to realize a more monetary gain from a more predictable cash forecast requirement, and then helps you to automate and free up your treasury team to focus on other value-added activities, and all in all, building you a more robust and cutting-edge system that helps you to perform all those tasks in a more automated way. Perhaps I'll end it with a note on our resource center. So if you have any other questions on kind of cash flow forecasting or machine learning or artificial intelligence, feel free to visit our ION Group website. We'll have various resources that are available within our resource center. So in here, you'll be able to find any white papers that we've written, a podcast that's done with my colleague Viola, which is an expert and also the product head of our artificial intelligence and machine learning team, and then also an ebook as well on Treasury's digital revolution on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if you want to know more about how those can be applied to your typical business, how you want to kind of perhaps deploy that within your current environment, do reach out to us, to either to myself or any other ION representative as well. Or if you're an existing customer, your account manager as well, feel free to reach out to us if you want to know more about artificial intelligence and machine learning and cash forecasting in general.